Now they're on with the
With
commission.
the 30th pick in the 2012 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select A.J. Jenkins, wide receiver, Illinois.
Well, the position certainly doesn't surprise. Crabtree, let's go here. You know, if they could have had anything on the outside against the Giants, they would have been in the Super Bowl. But the player might surprise at wide receiver, Mel.
Well, he hasn't been in any first-round projections, but he was an early second-rounder. He was projected to go anywhere between, say, 33 and 40, early day 2 pick. So it's not a shocker boom that he was picked here when you consider he could have gone maybe 7 picks later.
Okay.
But the bottom line is productivity and skill set. You put it together, 6'1.5", 188 pounds, around a 4.37. So you talk about the skills he brings to the table, can beat any cornerback vertically, has great hands. I don't think he played to the level of those computer numbers, not as explosive out of his clutch as I thought he should have been. Had to adjust to some poorly thrown balls, did that. Talk about in the return game can help you. Size, speed, 38.5 vertical, 90 catches. But I would have liked to have seen that average per catch instead of 14 be 18, but you can blame some of that on the fact they didn't have the great quarterback throwing the football.
You can blame a lot of it on that fact. And I don't really care what anybody says where he's projected. This kid is fast. He's an academic, all Big Ten performer, and he's made a lot of plays, 1,300 yards this year against Illinois.
A.J. Jenkins, 6 feet, 190, came on late, had a big senior season. I had him rated as my 8th wide receiver and a 2nd-round pick. Now, he's a vertical threat, and he gets in and out of his breaks very smoothly. He ran 4.39 in his pro day. This is a good football player. Remember, they've got Michael Crabtree, Kyle Williams, Ted Ginn is more of a return guy. They signed Mario Manningham, and of course, I know you all want me to get to the low-hanging fruit, which is they signed Randy Moss.
Why is that low-hanging fruit?
No, I believe in it. I mean,
why is that low-hanging fruit?
I was going to get there.
All right.
You didn't trust me. It's low-hanging fruit because he's the biggest name there, and that's what we talk about.
But a speedster.
What?
Randy Moss.
And I'm anxious.
This guy's a speedster.
He is.
He can learn from Randy.
I am totally enamored. I want to see Randy. I think Randy might be productive this year.
There's the team of, that's the Harbalki team. That's right there.
With the 61st pick in the 2012 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers is proud to select LaMichael James, running back, Oregon.
So to the smash mouth, a piece of Tiffany in that rushing attack. Here comes LaMichael James, just down from Oregon to Northern California to do some damage.
Keep in mind here, he's a 3rd down change of pace guy and a home run threat. But keep in mind, they were number 26 in total offense, but 11 in points scored. Why the disconnect? Well, because they were not plus 28 on turnover differential. Point being, they did not generate many yards on offense last year. They won with great defense and by protecting the football. This guy gives them the rare ability to hit a home run anywhere in the park. Return specialist, this is how you use him. Remember how the Patriots used Danny Woodhead a couple years ago? You line him up at tailback, you line him up at slot, you line him up wide. This kid's more explosive with one of the best bursts and accelerations I've seen from 0 to 60 in no time at all.
And remember last year, David Akers set a record for field goals.
Right.
So that's what they want to avoid here. Here's what I think with LaMichael James and one of the reasons they take him, because if you look at their roster, you say, hold on a second. Running back, you've got Gore, you've got Kendall Hunter, and you just got Brandon Jacobs. But now you don't list him as a running back, or even if you do, you play him and use him similar to how Sean Payton used Reggie Bush with the New Orleans Saints when he was there. Get him in space, get him his package of plays that way, integrate him into the return game. And how did the 49ers go out of the playoffs, Coach Billett? What hurt them?
Yeah, obviously,
the
special
return
teams,
game.
the return game. You know, I think you hit it on the head. Part of that offensive productivity's got to come on 3rd down. As many third mediums as you get into, if you don't convert them, it doesn't help you. I think everybody is kind of looking for that Darren Sproles type guy that can give you that spark on 3rd down.
The one thing I would say, though, I think he needs a little work there because he wasn't used totally in the pass game at Oregon.
LaMichael James has been taken by the San Francisco 49ers.
Harbaugh, if you can't beat him, join him.
We have to let Coach talk about LaMichael James. Mike Bellotti, what do you know?
Harbaugh's excited to get him. It's lightning in a bottle. I think LaMichael James is a much stronger physical back than people know. He's got the best stop-start speed of any back I've ever coached. Tremendous durability. I know people talk about his injuries. He has dislocated both elbows, but the reality is his shoulders, his knees, his legs are great. He can run. He's tough. He can carry the rock. He can catch the ball. He returned punts this year and kickoffs. So, again, he did that to help his NFL draft status, but he is a great leader, great kid, and a great football player.
Coach, while you were stuck in traffic, we were talking about this guy earlier today, and my take was there may not be another running back in this entire class with the natural God-given gifts of LaMichael James. The question, of course, is can you run the gauntlet of 16 weeks when you're no longer aided by the scheme that accentuated all his strengths and masked some of his physical stature weaknesses?
There's no question that he is going to be better in a spread offense than a pro-style attack. When you block people up, put a lead blocker in front of him, he's much better going in space on his own. He can pick things apart, but the reality is he can do that on third down, second down.
Jim Harbaugh, too. I mean, he's a smart coach. He's not going to expect him. They've got Frank Gore. That's their bruiser. Now they've got that change of pace back, and this is a guy that you have to almost do like a baseball pitcher. Use a pitch count on him, keep track of how many times he's touched it, keep him as healthy as possible because he's so dynamic when he gets his hands on the ball.
Will he be Reggie Bush-like the way that he's utilized by the Dolphins? A lot of times in the slot, you get him the ball however he can because he's not a between-the-tackles guy?
He is, but he's actually better than Reggie. He's faster than Reggie Bush, significantly faster.
He's not as big.
And Reggie might have been a little bit better receiver, but the reality is I think LaMichael has tremendous instincts and vision that allows him to see holes and stay with it sometimes.
He's not as big, but I would argue he might actually be tougher than Reggie. As far as physical, because I agree with you. I think people discount him being short for being small. He's not. He's a muscle ball. He's got something.
He's physical.
And now you take the Lexus War Room. It is the War Room that just selected Darius Fleming of Notre Dame. And Jim Harbaugh and Trent Baalke have also been very busy in this War Room, trading around, getting a 6th and 3rd round draft choices from 2 different teams for next year's draft. Moving up and down and all around the draft board, they just got Fleming from Notre Dame.
I told this kid at his pro day about 2 weeks ago when he ran a 4.55, improving his time significantly from the combine. I said, look, Darius, the more the coaches are getting involved in the evaluation process, the higher up you're rising. A lot of the evaluators think he's a tweener. He doesn't have the length you like coming off the edge. Let me tell you a couple things about him as a football player. He plays with a natural leverage. He gets under and he wins at the point of attack. He's got heavy hands, and he's got a little natural edge pass rush ability. Coach, I know you've had to contend with him the last couple years. Am I on par here?
Absolutely. This kid's going to help on teams right away.
Yep.
He's a seek and destroy kid. When the ball declares, he goes and gets it, and he gets the guy on the ground. You don't see him miss a lot of open tackles. He's a good pass rusher, does a good job. I know he's going to get better as he gets into that NFL scheme, but he does a good job in space. You saw him on that film. He drops in coverage, locates the receiver, sees the ball, and goes and gets it on the ground.
Was that an interception, Andrew?
No, that had to be an aberration.
Okay, we're just wondering.
I think Massaquoi has a chance to exceed expectations at the next level if used properly.
And 2 of Massaquoi's cousins are in the NFL. Vashante Shianko, you think about him, and Mohamed Massaquoi. So bloodline's very good as well. Here's Darius Fleming. Darius Fleming, linebacker from Notre Dame, going to the San Francisco 49ers, a team that already has a great defensive unit. Fleming was a solid, you think about reliable out there each week. This Notre Dame defense, think about what they had to offer in terms of keeping his team in games, quarterback play, just average at best. This kid, I thought, at times, Todd, looked like maybe a 3rd rounder. In other games, you thought maybe he was going to be a late round pick at best. So I think if he can level it off at the pro level and come into the NFL, showed some pass rush ability off the edge, see him there, an athletic kid, coverage, obviously critical at the pro level in this pass happy NFL. Did a solid job. I think he was one of the more reliable players week to week on that Notre Dame defense during his college career.
San Francisco taking a page out of the book of the Baltimore Ravens, the Pittsburgh Steelers. You just can't get enough guys that can run pretty well and are 250, 260 pounds on your football team because there's a lot of things you can do with them on defense and special teams. He can play safety, and he's going to contribute on special teams right away.
You know what else I love? He was going to be a baker before this worked out. He actually had a business where he made cheesecakes with his brother, but that's another story.
Someone did it research.
No, we're all hungry at this point in the draft. And then you got Trenton Robinson, safety out of Michigan State, going to the Niners.
5'10", 200-pounder. He got a little Bob Sanders in him, the way he hits that. Fiery, tough, emotional leader of that Michigan State Deep Patrol. Good tackler, made a lot of big plays during his career. The concern is with that style, that aggressive style, can he hold up physically? Bob Sanders in the NFL, great player when he was healthy, could not hold up. Can Trenton Robinson do it? Ran a 4.4 at the combine. Solid player, excellent range and coverage, Todd. I think it's a nice choice this late in the draft.
It is. I actually had a 4th-round grade on him coming off the board in the 6th. He's very solid across the board. I don't think he excels in any aspect of the game, but I also think he doesn't have any glaring weaknesses, too. So Trenton Robinson is a player that really has played some corner, can play safety. I think this is a good pick as well.
While we were having our draft grade conversation with the AFC North, the 49ers, Mike, finally took Cam Johnson, who was 50th on your draft board of your top 100. You had him as a 2nd-round grade, and he went 237 overall to the 49ers. So they got themselves a quality football player there.
Well, they may or they may not. Okay, here's the deal with him. On tape, he's not a quality football player. On tape, he's a very inconsistent but talented football player who can provide edge rush. Now, he got his lunch eaten on a bunch of tape I watched. He looked pretty good against the tackle from the University of Miami, Brandon Washington. However, he flashes pass rush ability, but he's got an underachiever label. I put him in the top 100 because I expected some team to take that ability and want to take a chance on him because he flashes. At the Senior Bowl, he flashed. But I think what this overwhelmingly tells you is that despite the talent, people didn't believe in the work ethic. And that's exactly what's happened. He slipped all that way, and finally Jim Harbaugh and Trent Baalke said, okay, 7th round,
done.
Boom, bust. That's easy. Let's go.
Yeah, and what's interesting to me with him is where exactly is he fit? You know, that's what we talked about at the Senior Bowl. What exactly is he going to do? He did a number of things at Virginia, whether it's defensive end, stand-up outside linebacker. For 49er fans, what you're hoping is that he can equate a little bit like a Manny Lawson did coming out of North Carolina State or a Paris Harrelson coming out of Tennessee. Can he be something like that coming out and give 49ers some value?
Has a little bit to work with, and there's a lot to get excited about when you're talking about a 7th-round pick and potentially contribute in the passing game.
All right, Cam Johnson, defensive end out of Virginia, goes to the Niners, another defensive weapon for them to play with.
Man, Cam Johnson was frustrating to watch on tape because he is, you know, a workout warrior, good experience, played for Al Groh, has scheme versatility as a defensive end and a 4.3 and an outside linebacker and a 3.4. He killed it at the combine. He ran a 1.61 in his 10-yard split. He did well in the bench press, all the agility drills, ran well in his 40, and so on and so forth. But you know, I just look at my notes here. Production, where is it? 12.5 sacks in 34 starts. And then where's the relentlessness and competitiveness? I think that's why a 3rd-round talent falls all the way here.